You could donate directly at starlight.org, or if you're watching on Twitch, you can donate there on well by scrolling down. With me today, we have Adam Garrone, the CEO. We are excited to have Starlight with us. Starlight delivers happiness to seriously ill children and their families at more than 800 children's hospitals and healthcare facilities in the United States. Starlight's state-of-the-art programs like Starlight Virtual Reality, Starlight Hospital Wear, and Starlight Gaming entertain, distract, and inspire hospitalized kids, bringing gaming and VR to hospitals and clinics across the United States, as well as custom hospital gowns for children. As a 501c3 public charity, Starlight is committed to best practice levels of governance, transparency, accountability, and financial management. Since 1982, Starlight has brought smiles to more than 16 million seriously ill children and their families. Adam Garrone is the CEO, and Adam had first-hand experience with a sick child directly in his family. His 3-year-old niece underwent 7 months of the most aggressive form of chemotherapy a child at that age can survive, and it changed his life forever. It made him truly appreciate the health of his own children and his niece, and the importance of giving time to families and children, and laughing and playing and everything along those lines. In 2019, Adam came to Starlight's Children's Foundation after 9 years as an officer in the Australian military, co-founding and leading the Movember Foundation globally as CEO for 13 years. He has also consulted with other nonprofits looking to make a change in the world. Adam has a long history of commitment to service and to children. In Adam's first year as CEO of Starlight, he strengthened the organization's brand through a digital-first strategy that included website redesign, brand refresh, system update, and renewed emphasis on storytelling. Under Adam's direction, Starlight launched 2 grassroots initiatives, Stream for Starlight and Give Happiness, along with a focus on monthly giving and peer-to-peer funding. Adam continues to lead the Starlight team forward in 2020, united in the belief that all children deserve to experience the magic of childhood, because seriously ill kids are still kids. So Adam, we are excited to have you, and thank you so much for being here. Is there anything I missed that you'd like to talk about the organization right off the bat?
That was a very comprehensive introduction and overview. This is coming up to the end of my second year at Starlight, and thoroughly enjoyed it, of course. And none of us expected this year to go the way it did with COVID. And it's for anyone in business, it's been a challenging time. And what we've seen with our kids that are in hospital is, they're more isolated than ever before, because typically they can only have one person go into a hospital throughout their stay. And that person typically can't be with them 24 hours a day. So they're more isolated than ever before. They're more scared because all the staff are wearing full hazmat gear. And a lot of the pediatric wards, particularly at the moment, with this surge being repurposed to treat adults, not necessarily with COVID, but with all the other stuff that adults are admitted for. So it's sort of upended the experience families and children have in a hospital, and because of that, we've seen a huge increase in demand for our programs. Now we need funding to be able to fulfill that. So, but this is all about, kids being kids at the end of the day, no matter what it is, they're going through, and it's stuff kids shouldn't have to go through, a serious illness and hospitalization. So it's great work. There was a lot of talk about me there, but there's just an amazing team that I have the honor of being part of and leading, that do just amazing work every day to put smiles on these kids' faces around the country.
About the first question that I have is about how big is the organization? Can you tell us a little bit about the people and how you guys manage to reach out and support 800 hospitals in this endeavor to provide these services? Could you talk a little bit about that? And please, folks, put in the Twitch chat box any question that you have for Adam. Please throw them at us, and we'll get through them as fast as we possibly can. But Adam, tell us a little bit more about the organization and the size and the people that you have working with you.
Yeah, so our head office is based in Los Angeles, although we're all working remotely. We've got 23 staff on board, and structured in a typical way a not-for-profit is. We've got a fundraising and marketing team, we've got a programs team, and then we've got the back office functions, so finance, operations, and things like that. So, and logistics. Logistics is actually a huge part of our organization. So we get products from our great partners, and we package them up and optimize them for hospitals, and then we distribute them out to the hospital network. So very digitally focused. Our website is our hub, not only for the general public, but also the hospital network. They come there, they log in. It's called the Starlight Hub, and it's essentially a private network where they can place orders for our programs, be it hospital gowns, toy delivery. They can also put in, essentially a wish list that they would like, 5 VR units, 2 gaming units, and then it's on us then to go and get funding for that, because our model is that all our programs are provided at no cost to the hospital network. So yeah, 800 hospitals in the network that benefit from Starlight's programs, and so it's a very small, passionate, smart team that enable this, and it is very lean, but we're doing great work.
That is absolutely incredible. Yeah, I have some messages here with some questions, so I'm going to throw them at you, Adam, in no particular order. I hope that's okay with you.
Sure.
Can you give us an example of a child or a group of children that you guys have worked with that you have seen a response from them as maybe they're going through chemotherapy or something like that, to have a VR headset on or a gaming console right in their room, that they have the ability to kind of turn off their brain a little bit from the illness and just have some fun? Can you any direct stories or any testimonials that you could give us?
Yeah, I'll give you 2. One's a very personal story, and then one more generally. So it was about 2 years ago now. As you mentioned in the introduction, my niece was 2.5 at the time. She was diagnosed with brain cancer. She had a tumor the size of a small lemon at the base of her brain. That quickly led to brain surgery. The tumor was malignant. It was ruptured. Obviously, both the worst possible outcomes. And then that led to 7 months of chemotherapy down at Rady Children's Hospital in San Diego. Now, at the time, she was like 2.5, 3, and one of Starlight programs that had such an amazing impact was, we've got a partnership with Radio Flyer, and we place the red wagons in the hospital. And so just imagine, Charlie is her name, going from her bed to a treatment, be it chemo or another scan or whatever it is. Now, that's highly traumatic, because she knows that she's going to get poked and prodded. And typically you would be transported in a wheelchair. And when you can jump in a Radio Flyer Starlight wagon, it changes that moment, and it's fun, it's a distraction, and it's entertainment. So I saw, unfortunately, firsthand the profound impact that Starlight can have on Charlie, her experience. But it's not just about the child, it's about the family, and taking a little bit of stress and off of them as well. Then we come to programs like virtual reality, so virtual reality, like a lot of our programs, is about entertainment, distraction, and play. But there's also clinical applications now for virtual reality. So cleaning a chemo port, and again, I know this firsthand through Charlie, is highly traumatic. It's painful. Or a child with a burn having the dressing changed, and oftentimes the child needs to be sedated or even given a local anesthetic. And now they're being immersed in virtual reality. And because it is so immersive, your brain can only process so many things. They're exploring, a forest, an underwater world, out of space, and they just get lost in that, and enables the clinician to change the dressing or clean the chemo port or put in or take out stitches or an IV. So that's without having to use drugs and opioids and all that terrible stuff that you never want, if you don't have to, your child to experience. So it's sort of no tech or very low tech in the radio flyer example through to high tech with virtual reality.
Absolutely. Such important work, to be helping kids in while they're going through some of the most difficult things a child could go through, and to be that support and that have those applications that just make a big difference. I've got a question right from the chat here, right off Twitch. How has COVID-19 affected distribution and consumption of the different programs offered by Starlight? Have there been any innovations that Starlight has found that improved their ability to offer these services that will be utilized in the future?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, one of our programs is toy deliveries into the hospital network, and we have a number of great partnerships with Disney and Hasbro and Wowie Toys, and they gift us toys, and then we repackage those and then distribute them into the hospital network. And each hospital has been different in their response to COVID, at different times and different surges and things like that. And in some cases, for a period of time, they weren't able to take any deliveries of anything other than key medical equipment. Our programs are delivered through an amazing group of people called child life specialists that work in children's hospitals, and they really work on the psychosocial support of the child and the family, and helping steward the family through, okay, here's what's going to happen next, and calming the child. So our programs are designed to enable them to do their job better. And in some cases, particularly early in COVID and more recently with this second big surge, a lot of the non-essential staff in hospitals were told not to come in. They wanted as few people as possible in hospitals. So some of the child life specialists, were furloughed. Some were required to work from home, which is near on impossible when it's supposed to be a personal interaction with the child and the family. So it has been a challenge on that front. But what we have seen is a real spike in the demand, particularly for our gowns, and because any sort of consumable gown type item is in high demand at the moment. And again, we have redesigned the gowns. They're a double wraparound. They're like a t-shirt, like pajama material. But the real kicker there is that then we partner with Disney, and we have Star Wars characters, we have Marvel characters, and Elsa and Anna, and also then Major League Baseball team logos on the gowns as well. So it changes that moment, because when a kid needs to put on a hospital gown, again, they're going in for some sort of a treatment, operation, MRI, something like that. So again, it transforms that moment. So we have seen a huge demand for our gowns and toy deliveries. And we've got a lot of products that are in the hospital network before COVID, thousands of gaming units, 1,800 VR headsets. So their use has increased as well, because as I was saying, a lot of these kids are spending a lot more time by themselves, more isolated, more scared than ever before. So the use of our products, we know, has gone up, and so has the demand.
Absolutely incredible. Absolutely incredible. Even during these times, the work goes on to help these kids. I am just blown away by the work that you guys are doing to help people, especially nowadays when it's really easy to put on the news and see a lot of maybe negativity instead of some of the positive that people are out there helping their fellow man and helping kids and trying to make the world a better place. And we all could use a bit of that. And bringing gaming and virtual reality and different gowns so the kids feel more comfortable is just incredible. Can you tell us more about the Starlight streaming initiative, the 12 days of streaming?
Yeah, so we started last year with a focus on the streaming community, and initially the gaming community. And the reason was two of our core programs are gaming. We've got a long-standing partnership with Nintendo, 30 years, and Nintendo work with us to modularize, say, the Switch. It goes on wheels with a screen, and then that goes into the hospital, and it's enabled to go from bed to bed. And then we've got our virtual reality program, which has gaming in it as well. So there was a natural connection because two of our programs are gaming to go into the gaming and streaming world, who have been fundraising for a few years now, and it's becoming more and more popular for streamers to fundraise as well. So we started in September. We call it Stream for Starlight. September was Childhood Cancer Awareness Month. And right now we're doing our 12 days of streaming campaign coming into the holidays. And what we've noticed is we've got a huge community of chefs and cooks that are also streaming, musicians, people who do health and wellness, fitness type classes and things like that. So not just gaming, but a whole different group of different communities. We've got arts and crafts folk doing it as well. So it's a great way for them to have another element to their content, a purpose. And one thing I love about Starlight is the tangibility of our programs. So if someone raises $1,800, we're able to place a virtual reality headset in a children's hospital in their city, and we work with them on that. Or one of the gaming units is $5,000, and again, we're able to place that in a hospital that is local to them or of some sort of significance to them. So that tangibility of being able to fundraise, place a real program that's going to last for 5 to 8 years and impact just thousands of kids in their local area. That full circle, stewardship and tangible impact has been great. So, we're out there all the time looking for new people that are interested, that stream whatever their talent is to support Starlight.
That is, and if someone wanted to get involved, can they contact you through your website if they wanted to become a streamer and pursue some of that? Could they just contact you through the website? Is that what they would do?
Yeah, starlight.org. They could go there. We have our own Discord channel as well. So people on Discord, it's just Starlight, can contact us there as well. Or just info@starlight.org. So.
Perfect. Another question here that was sent to me. What gets you up every day? What is the best part about working with for Starlight or being the CEO? What's the highlight?
Yeah, I think the team of people I get to work with is they are an amazing group of people and doing amazing work. And so it's working with a great group of people, passionate, smart. So that's a big thing for me. But beyond that, it is really seeing the impact and knowing that we're having a real impact every day. And we get so many stories back from our hospitals that the hospitals this year in particular are struggling with everything going on with COVID. So to get these handwritten cards or little photos of a little boy or a little girl in one of our gowns and smiling, even though they're hooked up to an IV pole, or playing on the Nintendo set and just saying, thanks so much. And you get those notes from parents as well. And what we try to do at our staff meetings, which we have each week, is have someone that works in the hospital join us virtually just to connect us with the cause, because typically we do go into the hospitals as staff members of Starlight, but we haven't been able to do that since March this year. So we don't get to see firsthand the impact that we're having. So to be able to connect with people virtually and digitally, and when you see that, and again, it just comes back to the tangibility of the programs, knowing that we can place one of our programs into a hospital and it'll have such a profound impact. And one of the things that we've done a lot of work on this year is really understanding the communities that each of our hospitals serve. And we know that now for our 800 hospitals. So we can look at what hospitals primarily serve poorer communities, communities of color, and then direct our programs there. So that in each of the major cities, there's typically a well-known children's hospital, and because of that, they're well funded. But in all of those cities, there are also other children's hospitals or pediatric units that don't get any funding or anywhere near the same amount of funding. So to be able to direct our programs to hospitals that serve poorer communities and see those kids play Nintendo for the first time, potentially, to experience virtual reality for the first time. And we get these stories back from some of these kids that are asking to be able to go back into hospital to to play on our VR or gaming units, which is not the best outcome. But it's, in some cases, a lot of kids are need to go back, for regular treatments. So it shows the power of the programs and just play.
Well, and I suppose you just never know what you're going to inspire in a kid that might, come out of whatever their ailment is or illness and go on for years and years. It might change a trajectory for a young child's life, not just inside the hospital, but further down the line, by inspiring them or showing them new technology that maybe they've never seen before or never experienced. And you just never know where something like that's going to lead for a young mind or any human being for that matter.
That's right. Yeah. And it's all about sort of nudging things a little in the right direction. And you on a daily basis, we never quite know how many kids we're impacting, and we never get to see all of those interactions. But we know the network of programs that we've got out there is, it's having a profound impact. Right now, there would be kids in hospital across the country, experiencing one of our programs for sure. And that's what gets you up in the morning. And that's the program delivery side. And then we've got, the fundraising side that enables us to, fund these programs and provide them for free into the hospitals.
Absolutely. And it's just not hospitals, correct? We're talking about other clinics and other places that kids are, might be, right?
Yeah.
This doesn't have to be just every single big major hospital, correct?
No, yeah. I mean, the network spans standalone children's hospitals, pediatric units, and then outpatient settings like Ronald McDonald houses. And what we've seen with COVID is more and more kids are being treated at home as well. So we're looking now as like, how do we extend some of our programs to support families that are treating their children at home? In some cases out of necessity. And I think that sadly will probably stay with us, where more and more kids, depending on what it is they're going through, are being treated at home. So how do we extend our programs to be able to support kids and families that are, having this treatment at home?
Because we're in a gaming type of community, of course, we get questions like this. Do you have a favorite game that you play? Or I can't imagine being a CEO and having a family that you probably don't have a lot of time for gaming, but we have to ask anyway. Do you have any favorite that you play yourself, or VR, or anything that you do?
Yeah, I mean, I grew up in Nintendo, and it was last year actually. I was in a hospital and playing Mario Kart. I mean, I love Mario Kart, and this little boy was like, I think we played best of 7 or something, and it was like I could not get anywhere near him. But yeah, I like Nintendo Mario Kart game would be my favorite. But yeah, with a couple of kids at home. My daughter just walked in before, and it's like, hey, get out of here. Because it's coming up to feeding hour.
Oh, got it. Yeah, it's about that time, isn't it, here on the West Coast? Oh, that's great. That's great. The little interruption. That is perfect. That is another question we have here. Tell us a little bit more about the gowns, and people could create or design their own gown for kids to use.
Yeah. So, as adult, I'm assuming the vast majority of people watching this are adults. Know
Yes.
how uncomfortable and awkward hospital gowns are, and kids gowns are just a smaller version of those. So they do it from the back, and that sort of coarse, terrible material. So we went about looking at totally redesigning the hospital gown. So firstly, they're made with a pajama-like material. It's soft, it's heavy. It wraps around and does up from the side. The larger sizes have pockets for the kids to put iPhones and stuff in. We work with the hospitals to make sure that they're compliant, that the kids can wear them in any procedure like an MRI and stuff like that. So they're fitted. So that's where we start, and then we've got a blank canvas. So as I said, we partner with a number of major brands to put their either sports team logos or Star Wars characters or Marvel characters on. But then what we also do is we open it up to enable people to design their own gown. And we have a campaign in March, April each year that where we put it out, and it's sort of like a crowdsourced design competition where people design their own gowns, and then we put them into production. So we actually print that design on the gowns, and they go into circulation. Actually, we've got a streamer that raised enough money she did a design where we put that design on the gown, and as part of the 12 days of streaming program, she's sort of announcing the gown and going to raise even more money for it. And again, this is a gown that the design she created. We're going to distribute those into hospitals that in a local area and mean something to her especially. So it's another great way for people to be truly involved with one of our programs.
Absolutely. That is fantastic. Another question is, has any famous artist, musician, or football player partnered with you guys? And if so, if you can say that, I don't know if you have NDA or non-disclosure agreements with people, or if you can mention teams and or players, musicians that are working directly with you, they'd be curious to know.
Yeah, yes, we do. We've got a couple. So we've got this one's still under wraps until Tuesday, but we've got a key NFL player that donated a significant amount of money, and because of that, he designed or helped design one of our hospital gowns. And those gowns are going into circulation in the area that he plays, and so those gowns are going to 7 or 8 hospitals in that region. And yeah, if this was next week, we could talk about it. But yeah, it's under wraps until Tuesday.
Absolutely.
that's one example. In terms of musicians, we have Dave Koz, who's an amazing jazz jazz musician, and he's been supporting Starlight for decades, and he fundraises into his super passionate group of fans and community, and has raised I think $250,000 for us over the years.
Wow.
And, yeah, he has a number of, again, for the music industry, like in-person concerts have stopped. So he's doing a lot of virtual performances, and as part of that, fundraising off the back of it. So, but we've got a partnership with Major League Baseball. Each year, 15 teams logos go on the hospital gowns, and then so the Dodgers here, we put the team logo on the gowns, and then they're distributed into the LA-based hospitals. We had the New York Islanders hockey team did the same thing. We had the logo there, and it went into those gowns went into hospitals in the New Jersey area. So, there's and one of the things that drew me to Starlight was the awareness of the organization is nowhere near where it should be. The vast majority of people that I talk to have never really heard of Starlight, and they should, because of the amount of work and impact that we do. And I grew up in Australia, and Starlight Australia is a household name. It'd be one of the biggest trusted charitable organizations in the country. Where here we've got that challenge ahead of us, and it's a great challenge to be able to do things like this and spread the word and have people understand who we are and what we do and how they can help.
Absolutely. Is that, of course, donations and some of the streaming stuff. What else? How else could the gaming community help, other than to spread the word and everything like that? Is there anything tangible people can do? If they go if they have children, or go to a clinic and see a need, just reach out to you guys to start to try to make that help with those connections? Or what is the best way for people to help? And get involved?
The hub, everything is at starlight.org for people to go to, but certainly those that have the capacity to make a donation and a financial contribution, absolutely. We understand that not everyone is in that position, particularly at the moment. But if someone does know a child that is in hospital or has a serious chronic illness, again, head to the website starlight.org and let us know that, because we can send them one of our gowns, or just help with letting them know, depending on what hospital in there, that our programs are in that hospital and they should ask for it. So there's a bunch of different ways we can support families. So if anyone is in that unfortunate situation where I was, where you do have a close family member that is a child going through a really serious illness, please let us know, again, at starlight.org.
Perfect. About how many children are estimated to be impacted worldwide by your organization, would you say?
Okay, I can answer that for the US. So we and if you look at the CDC numbers, there's around about 4 million children are hospitalized each year. Now that could be a very short stay through to extended. We estimate that 1 in 4 hospitalized children will get to experience one of our programs. So our aim, our vision, is that every child that is hospitalized gets to experience a Starlight program. So that could be them playing on one of our Nintendo gaming units, receiving one of our gowns, or receiving one of our toy deliveries. So the gap between us, serving 1 in 4 hospitalized children to all hospitalized children is really a function of us raising more money. and then being able to provide more programs into the hospitals.
That is fantastic. Well, on starlight.org, I did see a picture of you mentioned that you partner with Nintendo to build these wonderful kind of standalone wheeled gaming consoles that could be moved around hospital rooms and hospital beds and shared. Can you speak a little bit about how that works and how it makes it easy for the hospital to work around that console, and with COVID, how they go about cleaning and making sure if one kid uses it, then the next kid uses it, how we could keep, if people, most of the time when children are sick, their immune system is compromised. And right now with COVID, that's a pretty serious deal. So how does all that work? And it is fantastic, folks. Go on the website and check it out. You'll be amazed. These monitors built in, ready to go, functioning, wheeled, wheel it right into your hospital bed and room and game for hours type of situation.
Yeah, well, it's a long-standing partnership with Nintendo. It's a 30-year partnership, and we've been fortunate to have such amazing support from them. So whenever a new device is released, like the Switch, we work with Nintendo on then basically modularizing that so it can be mounted on wheels with a screen attached, and a lot of thought goes into the design of those, because infection control, even before COVID, was a really significant issue. So all the material that's used in making these needs to be of a certain hospital grade, needs to be able to be wipeable, easy. And so, yeah, we work with them, and the staff at Nintendo volunteer their time to do the build. They just did a build of 300 Nintendo Switches, and then they delivered those to us into our warehouse, and then we look for funding, and then we distribute that out to our hospital network. And the console comes with, I think it's 40 or 50 curated games, preloaded. It's got Hulu streaming. So yeah, it becomes a complete entertainment unit for a kid, and a great way to pass some time, and also be able to interact with siblings, parents, either at the hospital bed or even remotely now, to be able to game and play and do what kids should be doing.
Well, and that is fantastic, because nowadays you got, second, third generation gamers now.
Right.
Us that started in the 80s playing video games and stuff like that, pass that information down onto kids and their kids and everything like that. So bringing families together, or a way for siblings to communicate with one another, even though they can't be in the same area, bring that sense of family, sense of peace. And a little bit of a distraction for kids to just have some fun while they're maybe going through some hard times. And right now it's challenging with lockdowns and things like that for kids to have that interaction that maybe they need otherwise. And but we understand why that's the case because of COVID, but it's just unfortunate.
Yeah, totally.
It's unfortunate at all. Let's see. Let me check here to see about some more questions coming in. One second here. We'll find one here. We got one in here. Of course, in the gaming community, we're going to get a question like this. Are people surprised by your Australian accent?
Yeah, a little. I've somehow managed to keep it. As I said, I've lived in the US since 2007. My wife and kids are full American. I think it's because I tend to speak back with my family in Australia regularly, so that's potentially how I've managed to keep this accent. But yeah, sometimes it's like, why is an Australian guy running a US charity? But yeah, I moved across here in 2007 to as one of the guys that started Movember to launch it in North America and to take it global. So that's how I ended up here. And yeah, sort of rested my laptop here in LA back in 2007, and because that's where the Prostate Cancer Foundation was based, and they were one of the beneficiaries of Movember. So yeah, been home for 14 years now.
Wow. And I keep getting a ping 3 or 4 times here on Discord. Really, there's no charge to the hospitals or the clinics. This is all, when it comes to them getting it in front of the kids, it is free for them.
It's free. So that's where the fundraising side comes in. So depending on the program, so the toys we get, they're donated from our partners. We then have some logistics to repackage them and then freight to get them out. So we use the money that we raise through all the fundraising channels that we have, be it corporate donors or individuals, to then fund those programs and place them into the hospitals for free. So absolutely, there's no cost to the hospital. If a hospital wants one of our programs sort of straight away, they can effectively purchase that off of us. Would be the only time that they pay for it, but that's because someone will come into our Starlight Hub and go, I would love 5 virtual reality headsets. So they're $1,800 each.
Yeah.
So then we need to go on fundraise for that from either a corporate partner or a grassroots donor or a major donor to be able to place those. So often there is a gap between when a hospital asks for 5 VR headsets to when we can place them, because we've got to get funding for them.
Absolutely. All right, we got a couple of off-topic questions, but I'm going to ask them anyway because that's what we do. Which beach is better, Bodie Beach or Santa Monica?
Bondi Beach.
Bondi.
Yeah, I mean Bondi Beach for sure, 100%. Doesn't compare.
And then, who is your favorite superhero? Who's someone you look up to?
Maybe this is. My growing up, my favorite character was Captain America, and so maybe there was something way back in my subconscious around ending up in America at some point. Still to this day is like Captain America.
Oh, that is great. That is great. Well, folks, any other questions for Adam? We're at about 45 minutes here, and I don't want to stretch this longer than we need to. It's dinner time, and but I again go to the website, folks. Adam, I can't thank you enough for being here and the wonderful work that you and your organization is doing for kids, especially kids that are struggling or ill.
Mm-hmm.
It's incredible. What's coming down the pike? What can we expect in 2021?
Yeah, I mean, we've got we're in, obviously December, and this is so our campaign at the moment is Give Happiness. So we're out there asking people to make donations, and we've got our focus for December is placing the Nintendo gaming units, and as many of them as we can. So that's our sort of very short term focus. And then we have settled into working remote and everything that COVID has thrown at us. Hopefully there's some light at the end of the tunnel with that, and we can get back to some sort of normalcy. But for us, we've got amazing programs. As I said, our challenge here is to raise the profile of Starlight, have more people understand who we are and what we do, and really inspire them to be part of our community, make a donation, create a fundraising streaming campaign or whatever it is. And because of that, we'll be able to place more programs and impact more kids. So it's great work. It's really nice to know every day when you get up and these days turn on Zoom that you're doing it because of you're going to impact some kids that
absolutely
stuff that can go through.
Absolutely. Well, folks, we've been talking to Adam Garoni, the CEO for Starlight Children's Foundation, starlight.org. Please don't hesitate to go. Tell your friends, tell everybody. If there's kids that you know that are sick, don't hesitate to reach out, get involved, stream, help these guys out. Adam, it has been an absolute pleasure to
Mm,
talk with you, and thank you and your team so much for taking the time on a Saturday night to come talk with us, share your experience, share your organization, and boy, we're seeing a lot of outpouring of thanks and appreciation for your work and everything that you guys are doing. It is in truly inspiring
mm,
for us to keep in mind, and we can't thank you enough for taking care of kids and bringing a wonderful experience of gaming and VR and just brightening up uh,
mm.
the lives of children. It is very, very, very inspiring, and I'm humbled and grateful for having the opportunity to meet you and speak with you and your staff. I can't thank you enough.
Yeah, thank you, Dan, for having me, and everyone from LANFest and the community that's watching. The opportunity just to share the work that we do is what we're all about, actually. So, thank you.
You betcha. Thank you so much. Thanks a lot, folks, for the questions and the time and being here. And keep on gaming and having a great time. And I thank you all. Have a great evening. Take care, Adam.
Bye bye.
Bye.
Get an upgrade with Intel Core i7 processor-powered laptops.